I'm Sarah Arciniega. I'm a close to my heart maker who loves to scrapbook and do all sorts of paper crafts. Welcome to my channel, and today we will be putting together a snowy day page featuring the Close to My Heart special. There are always wonderful collections in our catalogs, but about once a month they come out with what they call a monthly special that's only available for a short time, and right now it is Gnomes for Winter. And we had a collection in the autumn that was Gnomes for Autumn, and this is the winter variety of that collection. So I want to take some time and show you the sticker sheet and the paper pack. The stickers have great titles that are great for your pages. They also have smaller words. And then there's a great journaling spot, and there's a border and banners. Moving on to the paper, the Close to My Heart paper is two-sided, and so one side has gnomes on it. This side does not. It's just the winter icons. And so depending on how you feel about gnomes, you can decide what side you want to use. There's an adorable snowflake zip strip on that one. The next paper has words all over it, and like icicles and below zero, snuggle up. And it's really cute there with the zip strip again. And then the reverse side of that is a stripe, and there's a dotted stripe that's really cute there. This paper looks like a blizzard on a piece of paper. I love the snowflake paper. And then on the reverse side of that one, we have this cute plaid. So I live in the South, so we don't have very many snow events every year. And so these two, the stripe and the plaid, are going to make great additions as I scrapbook some pages for my boys. I already have some ideas circulating in my head. And so I look forward to making those in the future just with this neutral paper. So with these specials, they always have free workshop guides, and this is what it will look like, and you can download them and print them out. And here's a sample of one of the pages from this Gnomes for Winter. The layouts are really cute, but none of them really fit the pictures that I had, and so I actually went to an older workshop kit. This is actually the Gnomes for Autumn, and it just fit with my pictures. There's so many pictures on this page, and so that's what really drew me to this. And so just watch how easily you can recycle these here. So that paper in the middle is perfect for the winter icon paper. The stripe, I'm going to turn on its side and use there just like they did with the stripe paper on their sample. And then instead of the orange, I'm going to use the snowflake paper. And very quickly, I have decided what papers to use, and it came together really quickly. So off camera, I went ahead and cut the paper according to the dimensions on the workshop guide. And right here, I'm trying to decide what color cardstock I want to put in between the icon paper and the stripe paper. And so to do that, I actually want to bring my pictures in first so I can just look at the color and figure that out by looking at the colors in my pictures. So my pictures are from a few years ago when it did actually snow here in the South, and it not only snowed, but it actually stuck around, which is almost unheard of where I live. And it was there for days. My kids were out of school for a week, and the whole city really shut down. And so we have some pictures here of the kids with their dad, and here's, Snowball and running with the snowball to get the victim. And this one just cracks me up. He's doing that like, yes, after, he threw a snowball at somebody. My husband captured some really great shots, I think. Here they are all together. I think the two oldest are actually ganging up on the little one. We have an action shot there and making the snowballs. And here he has his tongue out, and I think he's trying to catch some snowflakes. So now that I have my pictures in place, I'm going to try to decide what colors I want to back my photos in, as well as what color I want to put in the missing strip of paper between the icon paper and the stripes. So my son's jacket is like made for this collection. It's navy blue with some green stripes in it. And so I thought that worked out pretty well. So to play off of that, I'm going to back my photos in a dark blue. I thought I was bringing Sapphire in here, but it turns out it's Harbor. I discovered this later. They are very similar. They're both dark blues, but the tone's just a little different. And Sapphire is the featured color in this Gnomes for Winter. And so I will discover that later. But right now I actually have gone ahead and put that green paper in and I'm liking it, but I just want to make sure it doesn't pop too much or too distracting. And so I put in this paper here just to see if I like the more muted look. And it totally works. But ultimately I decide to go with the jade green. So here I start cutting my mats for my photos, and this tip is actually in the workshop guide. But if you cut your pictures down by 1/4 of an inch, then you can use a true 4x6 mat. What this does, it saves you paper because on a 12-inch paper, you can actually get 3 mats across. Where if you leave your photo at a 4x6, then you only can get 2 across. And so, because you have to do 4 1/4 to mat your photos with a, border. And so by just taking a sliver off of your photo, you can get the 3 across, which saves you paper, which I think we're all looking to do. I'm going to go ahead and get all of those matted. And I did actually, like I said, do the trick where you take the sliver off of your photo on all of my photos. However, I didn't do it on the 3x3 squares. And that's just because I had actually like intentionally made those 3x3 squares without thinking, oh, I want to cut off 1/4 of an inch. And so I just did those a little bigger, but it worked. And so here's what it looks like when they're all on the page with the dark backgrounds. I love the way that the dark and the white play together. So, do you ever have one of those crafty scrapping days where things just aren't going your way? Well, that's what happened the day I was putting this together. I discovered I was so excited about, I guess, putting this page together that I taped my stripes in the center right onto the snowflake paper, which is fine. You can do that. But I wanted to preserve that part under the stripes or strips of paper because I like this paper and I really want to use that plaid on some upcoming layouts. And so I had to go ahead and gently pull that up and cut the snowflake paper down and then adhere it to a white daisy piece of paper. But like I said, it was just kind of one of those days. It was about that same time that I discovered, oh my goodness, this isn't sapphire. I actually back these in Harbor. And so I bring in the sapphire, and here on the screen, you really like it looks like exactly the same, but in person, the sapphire is more vibrant and, like I said, more like a true blue. And it does make a slight difference. It would have been fine if I left them on the Harbor, but ultimately down the road, I did decide to switch them out. I didn't want it to be one of those things where I look at this page and I always, it always bothered me. And so I went ahead and did switch that out eventually. So now I'm ready to work on my journaling. Journaling is a really important part of scrapbooking to me. And so I have my story here and I go ahead and grab the buildable tag set and I'm going to just tape that right over my journaling. The spacing was pretty spot on and I tape it down with some washi and then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. So after running that through my die cut machine, this is what it looked like. It's going to go right there on the bottom right corner, just like they had on the sample layout. They just did a title on theirs, but I wanted to take advantage of that space and tell the story. And so that's what I did. I had some extra snowflakes laying around from this card that I made using the Snow Cute stamp set and the embossing folder. And so there were some extra just laying around, and so I decided to start kind of scattering those about. I did do them in Periwinkle and actually the Harbor again. So down the road, I will redo those ones, do them in Sapphire. But here I have cut apart the sticker sheet a little bit and I'm just kind of placing the stickers loosely to see where I like them. The cabin, we weren't in a cabin, but I still think it's pretty cute. We were kind of snowed in, if you will. And so I put that underneath the tag there. This little word sentiment says hello winter, and I originally wanted to put it on the tag at the bottom, but of course I just had too much to say, and so I'm looking for a new home for it and put it there. I do actually think it's really cute there. Not sure why I didn't leave it there, but eventually it makes its way over to the left side of the page. This one says frozen in time, and here we have a cute little circle snowflake from the sticker sheet. And then I look at the tag. I decide I need to pull some green over into that area. I also need to put something on the tag. And so I didn't want a big poofy ribbon, and so I decided to just do paper and cut it like ribbon. You can tell it's paper, but it does kind of give the impression of ribbon. And so it's not too much onto that picture. It's just enough green. And so I'm pretty happy with that. So at this point, though, I'm noticing that my journaling tag is a little stark over there in the corner, and there's a lot of white already going on with all of the snow in the pictures. And so I decide to do an ink treatment. I just have a cheap inkjet printer, and so it tends to be a little reactive with inks or even markers, really. And so I decide I'm going to try it. And as I go ahead and ink this around, with the little brush, and the parts where there was no ink, it looked great, but it did smear it. You can really tell in this frame here. And so I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. And so what I did is I went ahead and I inked my tag beforehand, and then I taped it to the piece of paper to run through my printer, and it actually worked really well. However, I taped the tag using washi tape, and I wasn't thinking. And so where I had it taped at the bottom, that part of the washi tape ended up with part of the story on it. So that didn't work. So I tried it one more time and I cut off the bottom line. At this point, I'm getting a little frustrated. This is doable. But I just am like, you know what? I think if I use a colored cardstock, that would be a better choice. And so I like that because I have the same color in the corners. And so I'm really happy with that. I did decide to ink distress that in sapphire ink around the edges. So at this point, I kind of take a step back. I probably actually had to step away I'm just in a stage of my life right now where I have to step away and do scrapbooking in like little increments because I have 4 kiddos that keep me pretty busy. And so I squeeze it in when I can. But what I'm doing here is I want to pull more green in just to make it more cohesive. And so I get my new triangle thin cuts and I cut out a bunch of triangles in 2 different sizes, and I'm just placing them around the page, seeing where I like them, if I like them, and so I play around with that for a little while. So I decide I do like the trees, and so I'm going to bring in my triangle tree stamp set. This is a newer stamp set, and so it is great for Christmas cards. It just came out at this time of the year, but it actually will be great for hiking and for outdoor photos or for a snow layout. I just picked the ones that were more geometric rather than ones that look like twinkling lights. And so now I decide I need to do some more snowflakes in the sapphire ink. And so what I'm doing now is going and stamping those. I'm using the back of my Versamat as a place to stamp because it has just enough give and makes a great place to do your stamping so you get a good impression. And so that's what I'm working on. While I work on that and continue to fuss with the page, I thought I'd read my journaling. So this page will go into my son's album. I do a family album, and then just recently I've started doing pages that highlight a certain kid, where I get to tell the story just from a different vantage point instead of just the basic family album. And so love doing this, and so this is going to be for my son's book, and this is what I wrote to him. Snowpocalypse hit Texas and not only gave us snow, but snow that stuck around for a few days. You didn't have any desire to go out in the cold when the other kids went outside. I encouraged, reassured, and pushed you along. You went out in your cowboy boots, dragging your feet. A funny thing happened. You started having a blast and threw snowballs with gusto. The other kids decided they were freezing, but you stayed outside long after they went inside. I loved giving you that little push to try something new and slightly uncomfortable that opened up a new fulfilling experience for you. Your giggles, glee, and excitement made my mama heart so happy. It's funny when you don't get the snow that it is a totally different experience. In fact, one other time we did have snow when he was just a little guy. He didn't even go out in it. He wouldn't. Like, he saw it I had no desire to go out. And so this was just a fun experience to record. Something I want to point out here too is because I don't have a lot of snow experiences, I actually opted not to buy this whole collection. There's a bundle that you can get that you save some money, but it's like the stamp set and the acrylic pieces, and it's like everything. And where that is a fun option, and I would have had fun with all of those things, just because we don't get snow very often, I opted to just get the paper pack and the stickers. And so, quite economically, I was able to do this really cute page and have a ton of other supplies left over, just with some cardstock that I already had, and was able to make this cute page without having to buy the whole bundle. Like I said, the bundle's fun and great, and I do opt to do that for various collections. But for this one, for me, it just made sense to get just the paper and the stickers. And so just keep that in mind. Sometimes I think you know, we think we need it all, but sometimes it's okay to get just the paper pack and the stickers, and we can do really cute things with those. So here I am fussing some more. And don't forget that you can also cut your stickers in half. I end up taking this out just because I didn't like it. But actually looking at it now, I'm like, it's cute. I should have probably left it there. But just remember that that is something you can do. And then you can use the other half somewhere else. I also, you can see, had to mat the Hello Winter. I just took some white paper and put a thin border around it because it was blending too much into my page. So don't forget that you can do that too when a sticker isn't popping off the page or is too close to your background color. You can back those and that helps. And so here I'm just doing some final positioning. I play with some snowflakes some more. One thing I did find, because this paper is so cute and already has the pre-printed snowflakes, I was having a hard time like clustering my snowflakes because I didn't want to cover up like all of the printed snowflakes and the paper. And so the paper kind of did a lot of my work for me. And so I do use some, but like if it was just plain cardstock, I would have probably used a whole lot more. But I did want that background paper with the snowflakes to be able to, be the star of the show here. And so I do add some. Another note is I did add some little jewels to the center of the snowflakes. I think that's a fun touch. You can see it kind of right there in that corner. I want to take this opportunity to thank each of you that have shown me support as I've started this channel. Every like and every subscriber, it's kind of like a grand event at our house. In fact, one morning I woke up to my son in my room looking at my phone, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I have to see how many subscribers you have." And so we really do appreciate it, and it's been a fun thing to have this channel and to share my love of scrapbooking with all of you. I've also included some links for some of the products that I used on the Close to My Heart website. And here's the finished product. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.